China's economy last year expanded to its slowest rate in 14 years. The country's Statistics Bureau says GDP grew by 7.7% last year. The government's trying to manage an economy which is moving away from state investment to growth driven by consumers and private entities.
Now, those Chinese numbers were actually a little better than expected, and as a result, the Australian share market bounced off its lows to finish only 9 points weaker. The banks closed in the red as smaller lenders make an aggressive push into the market for fixed-rate home loans. The miners did well. Telstra finished lower.
In Japan, the Nikkei declined as Nintendo slumped 6% following a profit warning. The Aussie dollar hit another 3.5-year low against the greenback amid growing confidence in the US economy. And on commodity markets, well, gold is up while oil is down. Now to sport with Craig Foster. And Craig, women's draw at the Aussie Open. Well, the upsets keep on coming.
They certainly do, Janice. Just 24 hours after world number one Serena Williams crashed out, Maria Sharapova has been eliminated in another upset. In the men's draw, Grigor Dimitrov continued his great run. Rafael Nadal is through and Andy Murray has 1 foot in the quarterfinals. Defending champion Victoria Azarenka still hasn't dropped a set, while 8th seed Jelena Jankovic bowed out. But all eyes were on Sharapova after her surprise exit.
Maria Sharapova wasn't expected to encounter too much resistance from 20th seed Dominika Sibylkova. In the first set went true to form. In the second, a change of fortunes. The Slovakian turning up the heat on the 3rd seed. Wow. Claiming the second set and roaring into the decider on top. Sibylkova with the second huge upset in as many days.
I was 100% sure that I can win this match, and I was not doubting myself. Even I lost the first set, I was not playing quite like I wanted. And then, I just kept going. I knew what I had to do, and I was doing exactly the right things.
She'll meet Simona Halep, the 11th seed, who got the better of former world number 1 and 8th seed Jelena Jankovic. Rafael Nadal and Kei Nishikori slugged it out in the first set, but in the tiebreak, Nadal reigned supreme. Nishikori broke Nadal for the first time all tournament in the second, but the Spaniard is world number 1 for a reason. Last night, Katie Delacroix was the last Australian knocked out of the singles draw despite claiming a first set tiebreak against 30th seed Eugenie Bouchard. The Canadian dominated thereafter, dropping just 2 more games. What a moment for the 19-year-old. Delacroix well beaten, but it's her best effort at her home slam in 6 years.
I played some really good tennis, so obviously disappointing to lose tonight, but I felt Eugenie played really, really well, and yeah, where I'm at, I'm actually really looking forward to this year.
The ranking will also rise to well inside the top 100. Glenn Osborne, World News Australia.
To football, and Gary Van Egmond has become the 3rd coaching casualty of the A-League season. The Jets and the 48-year-old agreed to part ways following a string of poor results.
In the end, the decision to mutually terminate Gary Van Egmond's contract came sooner than most had anticipated. The former AAS coach stepping down following an indifferent season, which culminated in the recent defeat to bottom place Melbourne Heart.
The last 4 games haven't been good, and not what we expect for a club like Newcastle Jets.
The announcement ends a turbulent run for the Jets, the club winning just 5 of their 15 matches and only once in their past 6 appearances.
It's not actually losing the change room, I think it's more getting the players to really believe in themselves.
Youth League coach and former Socceroos striker Clayton Zane appointed in a caretaker capacity for the rest of the season.
There was actually, I think, a review done on him and his impact or potential impact if he was a first-team coach, and I think it was all very positive.
Van Egmond's departure follows the sacking of John Aloisi at the Heart and Alistair Edwards' dismissal from Perth Glory.
In this day and age in the A-League, if you're not getting the results, every coach is under pressure. We've seen that around the world. The A-League is no different.
It ends a bittersweet relationship after 2 stints at the Jets. Van Egmond guiding the club to its only championship in the 2007-08 season. It's believed he'll take on a technical director's role with the Hunter region. David Bashir, World News Australia.
Meanwhile, Socceroo midfielder Tom Rogic has clinched a deal to move on loan to Melbourne Victory until the end of May. The Celtic player is desperate for regular game time to cement his spot in the national squad ahead of the World Cup. Victory hopes Rogic will be available for Sunday's Australia Day clash with Sydney FC. Manchester United's hopes of defending its Premier League title has suffered a setback after a 3-1 loss at Stamford Bridge. Samuel Eto'o was the chief destroyer, his hat-trick moving Jose Mourinho's side 2 points behind leader Arsenal. Elsewhere, Emmanuel Adebayor secured a brace as Tottenham's 3-1 victory compounded Swansea's relegation fears. In Spain's La Liga, Barcelona dropped points for only the fourth time this season after being held to a 1-1 draw with Levante. The hosts opened their account inside 10 minutes through Lucas Vintra. Gerard Piqué restored parity, leaving Barca in a three-way battle for the title with the two Madrid clubs. Meanwhile, recently installed AC Milan coach Clarence Seedorf has returned to life in the Serie A with his side posting a 1-0 win over Verona. The Rossoneri had to wait until the 82nd minute for Mario Balotelli to guarantee the points. To cricket, and Ashes winning batsman George Bailey has been dropped for Australia's upcoming Test series against South Africa. The future of England captain Alistair Cook is also in doubt after Michael Clarke's men wrapped up the one-day series with 2 matches still to play. While back-to-back half-centuries from Shaun Marsh saw him wrestle his way into the Test squad for South Africa.
A 5-0 Ashes whitewash doesn't necessarily warrant sticking with a winning formula.
George Bailey has been omitted from the squad.
Bailey was in the thick of the action this summer, getting under the skin of England's players in the field and belting them with the willow in hand, smashing 28 runs off one Jimmy Anderson over.
Make that 28!
However, Bailey's average the entire series was just 26.
George is less suited to their against their attack, and we've bolstered the batting.
The talented Tasmanian's cause wasn't helped by the return to form of Shaun Marsh in a one-day format. Back-to-back half-centuries and hitting the winning runs, surely not hurting his caller.
That's victory for Australia, not just in the match, but in the series. 3-0 with 2 to play.
When Shaun plays at his best, he's a very good player. And it seems to us as though he's in that space at the moment.
Last night, David Warner showed no signs of fatigue. Despite a long summer, the Test opener swatted 71 runs at better than a runner ball.
Oh, and there he goes again. Dave Warner at his best.
Brad Haddin also continued his sparkling form with the bat. He and Warner earning a rest for the remaining 2 ODIs.
Brad Haddin has all the confidence in the world.
Captain Michael Clarke granted a well-earned spell, with George Bailey set to captain Australia in Perth in Clarke's absence. Nick Vinden, World News Australia.
Meanwhile, Michael Clarke has an opportunity tonight to become the first cricketer to win the Allan Border Medal in 3 successive years. SBS reporter Nick Vinden is at the awards ceremony and has the latest from the red carpet.
Sydney's been a happy hunting ground for the victorious Australian team. Of course, it was the scene of their 5-0 Ashes whitewash and more recently their one-day international success. Now the Harbour City is playing host to the Allan Border Medal for the very first time, where Australia's best men and women's cricketers are about to be crowned. I spoke to some of the front runners a little earlier to find out what they were thinking heading into the announcement.
I think Mitchell Johnson will take it out this year, so like I say, I think I'm so excited and pleased with how this team's going at the moment.
Michael's talking about and a few of the boys, so but look, I'm just here to enjoy the night, have a bit of fun, here with my beautiful wife.
It's probably been a really even year for the squad, and yeah, I think everyone's just really looking forward to enjoying the night and particularly celebrating such a wonderful summer of cricket.
Judging from the players' reactions, the awards are set to be hotly contested tonight, and if Michael Clarke does win the Allan Border Medal, he'll surpass Ricky Ponting as the only 5-time winner of the award. Surely the icing on the cake for a great summer for the Australian captain.
To cycling, and race organisers have confirmed the Tour Down Under will go ahead as planned tomorrow. Officials are continuing to take advice regarding the current bushfire situation. As Mike Tomalaris reports, crashes have marred the opening events of the week-long carnival in Adelaide.
The night of carnage started in the women's race. Not once, but twice did riders fail to tackle a narrow bend on the 2-kilometre circuit.
2 girls in front of us came down and just covered the road, and there was nowhere for both of us to go. So I think I did a Superman into the fence.
The men's event was no different. Italian Giovanni Visconti was rushed to hospital with a broken leg. The crash also injuring Chris Sutton, who has abandoned from the tour as a result.
I wouldn't say it was such a dangerous corner, but yeah, when you're going through at 70k or 65k now, it's a different story.
A photo finish was needed to decide the winner.
It's Kittle who gets it on.
But the accolades belonged to a rising Australian teenage prodigy in his first international appearance.
I'm actually a little bit frightened now. They're amazing, those guys. And I tried to kick him, and he was just riding away from me, so, yeah, wow.
The Tour Down Under heralds the arrival of a new Aussie team. After years of trying to earn a place in Australia's Premier Tour, persistence has paid off for Drapac.
It's been a decade coming. These guys have been at the forefront of Australian domestic racing for a long time with some great results, and to get a wildcard invitation is fantastic. The organisation's really looked after us. You know, we'll be here to show them that we deserve a spot here this week.
And cycling supporters have had a chance to get close and personal with riders from British powerhouse Team Sky. Led by Giro hopeful Richie Porte, the squad was joined by some 200 fans for a casual roll around Adelaide. Mike Tomalaris, World News Australia.
And finally in sport, the Denver Broncos will meet the Seattle Seahawks in February Super Bowl after both sides won their conference deciders. Peyton Manning threw 2 touchdowns to lead Denver to its first Super Bowl berth in 15 years, steering the Broncos to a 26-16 victory over Tom Brady's New England Patriots. While in a brutal showdown in Washington, the Seahawks stifled 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick to post a come-from-behind 23-17 win over San Francisco. That's the day in sport, guys. Keep in mind the A-League highlight show tonight, 9:30 SBS2. We have a look at Wellington Phoenix's wonderful win over the Victory.
Great work.